Greetings, beautiful, badass light worker. You are listening to Stepping into the Light with Julia Treat. That's me, your host from juliatreat.com. And I am honored to be with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, I want to talk today about who might be wanting to connect with you from the other side. And I find it quite surprising when certain people or souls come through to connect with clients, and clients are right away like, no way, I didn't even know that person, or we had a shitty relationship. There's no way that he or she would be coming in. And so I'm here to tell you, I know we all want to connect with our loved ones, especially those that we shared amazing relationships with, and whether they were our soulmates, our love interests, our parents, our children, our pets, grandparents. But there are so many that are trying to connect with you that perhaps something within you doesn't want to, or you're are closed off to that. So I know I'm kind of rambling, but so people who did not treat us the best while they were here, roaming this earth, believe it or not, they want to help you the most. And I actually just paused when I said the most. I want to make sure that's how I felt with, past readings and past events and circumstances, even for myself. But, okay, I'm going to retract that. I'm not going to say the most, but they want to help you just as much as everyone else. In fact, the reason I say they want to help you the most is because they want to make up for everything they didn't give you here or didn't do for you. They want to make up, I promise you. So it's kind of interesting that this year, my grandfather has been coming through a lot, and we were not, I do love the man, and we did have pleasant, I do have good memories, but he was not the nicest to me. And just kind of verbally, he's a tough man. He was a tough man. And I remember one day, even I wasn't going to go to church on a Wednesday night. We were visiting, and he called me a Jezebel, and I was just like crushed. I couldn't believe that he actually called me a name just because I didn't want to go to church on a Wednesday night. Now, again, this is not a blame game. He just reacting because of the way that he was either brought up or conditioned to believe or whatever. He had his own beliefs, and that's fine. But this past year, he's been coming through a lot. And it only made sense because as I was giving, clients readings and saying this person's coming in or that person, and sometimes giving them a first name or describing the person, and my clients being totally like floored or set back, like no way. I don't even want to hear from that person. Until I start talking about how much they want to, they wish to make up for their wrongdoings or what they held back or whatever. So with my grandfather coming around, it only makes sense that all that I am manifesting, that he would be a part of it. Because I can feel his remorse. I can sense it. I can feel it. I can see him in my head. And every time I picture that, I tell him that, hey, it's water under the bridge, as they say. It's over with. That's a past, and I'm done with that. And to forgive himself, because I already have. So don't be surprised now that if you've never heard that before or thought about it, that certain souls could come forward that perhaps you didn't have the best relationship here. Don't be surprised now if you start getting like little winks from them. There might be a new animal that shows up, a new bird. You might start finding things on the ground like pennies or coins. Or I found a keychain one day, and it said, I love you to the moon and back. And it was just, I got out of my car at the convenience store, and it was right there I went in the store. That's right. I got out of the car, went in the store, came back, and it was right where I would have put my feet down getting out of the car. So it literally appeared, showed up within, I think I was inside for less than a minute. And so I knew who that was, and that was, that was a new sign from someone and the perfect message that I needed to hear at that time. I'll be honest, I look back at it and I think that was God talking to me. Because God will tell us things like that. I love you to the moon and back. But anywho, what if you softened your heart and you let go of that armor and that crap that's wrapped around your heart, like thinking it's protecting you from someone who maybe withheld love or treated you poorly? And what if you just kind of let that go? I know. Some of you are going, there's no freaking way that I can do that. Or what they did was so god awful. But I'm going to ask you to, we're all here to heal our shit. And some of us are healing it, and some are resisting the healing. And so one way to heal our stuff is we forgive those who hurt us or wronged us. And forgiveness does not mean what they did was okay. Forgiveness just means that we're not going to, it's only affecting you. I can promise you that. It is affecting you energetically, which is affecting you physically. Energetically equals emotionally equals physically. It's exactly what's happening. It will only make you sick. And just FYI, when we hang on to this resentment and anger, it actually causes really ugly things to happen. And resentment and anger usually affect the stomach area. And we will literally make ourselves sick. And it can start out with, nauseous stomachs or issues with our bowels, tummy aches, you name it, cramps, pains. And, we'll pop something. We'll take something to make it feel better. But we won't go in there and dig in and say, what the hell am I holding on to that's making me sick? And so when we pop these pills or something to calm the stomach, make it feel a little bit better, all we're doing is masking the voice of your body going, I can't do this anymore. We have to do something about this. That's your body screaming at you saying, let's uncover the truth and let's get rid of this shit so that we can feel better. Because I can promise you, I had all of it. I had the reflux. I was on medication for, I don't even know, probably 15 years. I had the surgery to close off the stomach so that the reflux couldn't come up. And guess what? I threw up one day with the flu. Now, let me just tell you this. When you have that, I think it's called fundoplication, if I'm correct, where they tighten the top or the bottom of the esophagus so that the stomach acids can't come up. And I had it done, and it did work. I didn't have any issues there. But I still had that self-loathing going on inside. Oh, yes, I guarantee you. So we did the surgery, and after all of that, I still had the stuff that was making me sick. And I mean making me sick as in literally causing the stomach issues. So I remember I got the stomach flu one time because I always wondered what would happen if I had, if I did get something and I can't vomit, because that's what happens with fundoplication, you can't vomit. And I thought, well, I don't even know what happens there. Well, I found out. It did come up, and the fundoplication, I guess, got loosened because it didn't, then I had the whole issue starting all over again. That continued till I started doing that deep diving work to find out why I had so much anger, why I was resentful. But to be honest, it was me being angry and resentful towards myself. Because I thought I was garbage. I was a sinner. All those things that we hear and we start believing. The piece of crap, piece of shit, whatever you want to call it. I remember my first retreat to Sedona, Arizona, it was called a pilgrimage to Sedona. And I went on it, and I do talk about that in my book. stepping into the light, which, by the way, I've had several people reach out and ask how they purchased that. Just hop on my website, juliatreat.com, and click on my book, and it will take you there. It's on Amazon, but that's the easiest way. If you want to just go juliatreat.com, my book, there you go. There you go. But that is a chapter in my book about my pilgrimage to Sedona and how I was so at my rock bottom, physically, emotionally, financially. I was a disaster. That I heard about this trip and I knew that I was to be on it. And I asked the angels, I just threw it. This was one of those first times that I realized that money can show up in magical ways. I kid you not. The trip was a certain amount, 963, I believe, 963, something like that. And I wrote the amount in my book, but I believe it's 963. That always sticks in my head. And I didn't have it. And I think you had to have your payment in. Maybe that was the first payment. Yeah, maybe that was the deposit or the first payment. You had to pay half or something. Yeah, that was like the first payment. And I threw it out to the angels. If I'm to go on this trip, then you come up with this money because I don't have it and I don't see a way to get it. But I'm trusting you to bring it to me if I'm to be on this trip. Well, 2 weeks later, about 2 weeks, I get a refund check from my car insurance company. Every year I got a dividend check for being like, a safe driver and no tickets. And it was usually about $100. So I'm sure you can totally understand how shocked I was when I opened the letter thinking it's that usual $100 check. And it was for exactly $963. I kid you not. I mean, I think that's what had to show up at that moment for me it made me such a believer because it was the exact dollar amount. Like, you can't make this shit up. I hear that all the time in the Clairvoyant Collective. That's my private Facebook group. And it is for people who've been in my spiritual boot camp. And people are all the time, like, once they take the boot camp, all these things just start appearing for them. And they're like posted on there and people post pictures of what's happening for them. And it's a lot of fun. And everyone always says, like, you can't make this shit up. It's a blast. So when I was just thinking, now how did I get here? Like, I just start talking and you never know where we're going with this. But I was bringing this up because when I went to Sedona, I was talking about our bodies screaming at us all the time. When I went to Sedona, we sat around the circle the first night. I think there were about 40 of us. I don't know, maybe it was less, but it seemed like a big group. It was a pretty large group. And we went around the circle, and the facilitator, one of my mentors, she asked us to just, introduce ourselves, where we're from, and why we were there. Why were we at this retreat? And so everybody went around, had each thing to say, and I don't remember what they were saying, but it was very beautiful and loving and a nice. I was like in awe that they all had these reasons to come. And they got to me, it was my turn, and I just welled up with tears in my eyes. And I said, I'm here because I'm broken. And whoa, there goes that frog in my throat. Those were my words because that's how I felt. I was broken. Into pieces. And I cried, and everybody cried with me. People were wiping their tears. And my mentor is a genius. And she said, and I so get this, I understand this now. She said, and as I was crying, some people you could tell wanted to get up and come over to me. And she said, I'm going to encourage you not to, I don't know that the words were like, not go hug her. That wasn't what it is. But it was, she says, tears and crying, it's releasing. And oftentimes when someone hugs you, it actually stops that releasing. Like sometimes we have to go through that pain and heartache to release it. We need to cry it out. And I so get it now. That makes so much sense because it made sense that night. And it made sense for that entire retreat when people were having epiphanies and transformations and life-changing happenings and just miracles, like amazing stuff happening, and some crying through it and we just all supported each other. You could feel there's so much love in the room, but we didn't once have to go up and hug each other. It was such a raw, ooh, I just got chills on that, up and down my legs. It was such a raw and beautiful experience to be in this magical place with complete strangers. I did know of some people, but most people there were strangers to me. Strangers in what we would consider strangers, but our souls all knew one another, and it was the most beautiful thing. I felt safe. I felt safe to just release everything that was pent up in me. I felt safe to let go. I felt safe to be real and honest, like I am now on this podcast every day. I was talking to someone earlier today, one of my coaching clients, and I said, she was saying how I don't, not in your face that I am, but she actually just said, it's my badass attitude. That she, sometimes maybe people, it like intimidates them and I told her, girl, this was not always me. This is me now, because this is who I need to be to show up in the world as Julia Treat, the spiritual teacher and mentor and guide and medium and intuitive and whatever and regular girl. I have to be this. And I told her, I said, I totally get it though. I said, that's why I think I'm showing, I've shifted into this and showing up as this because, I feel like I'm here to encourage all of you to be fucking badass and that you can do it. You can do anything. And you can even do the healing work of healing the shit, of letting go of the pain, of asking the angels to help you forgive those that you need to forgive on the other side. Because I guarantee you they're wanting to help you, and they have magical ways of doing so. I am always welcoming more of my spiritual team members, whoever wants to hop on board and help me. Because I am manifesting some massive, massive stuff. I'm doing my part, and I know my team's doing their part. I continue to get winks about it all. And so back to how this all started with my grandfather coming in this year, I wasn't surprised because as I'm giving people readings and saying this person is here they want to make up, and they want to make up for what they did or didn't do and truly allow them to, then of course I would have my own person show up who was asking to do the same. So look inside. What is it time to let go of? Who is it time to forgive? And forgiveness never means that what they did was okay. It means I'm not going to let it affect me anymore. Ask your team for the surprises, the God winks, the help. Be open to those that didn't do what you think they should have done. Be open to them coming through and making up in just crazy, amazing, miraculous ways. Because they owe you, they know that, and they want to help you. So I spoke about that Sedona retreat, my first retreat, and I know I have so many things I'm working on right now, which is so much fun. I just want to give you some clarity. The Sedona retreat is going to be happening. I am just pinning down dates. There's details that need to be worked out here, but it's all coming to fruition, probably at the end of summer, beginning of fall. But again, we're working on dates. I am also starting that Healing with the Masters course. Someone reached out for clarity. It is an online course with different modules. You will have different videos and audio and homework. It will be easy peasy because that's the way that I work. And there will be live calls with me and individual one-on-one attunements, because it's going to be Reiki 1 and 2 involved, but we're taking it even further than that into healing with the masters and angels, and it's going to be awesome. I am so freaking excited about it. So I'm working on the sales page. It's coming up soon, but I just wanted to clarify it is an online course. It is not in person. And I did it that way so that more people can actually take it. And if you've not ever taken an online course with me, these group courses are a blast. You are going to get to know people from your your soul family. That's what happens. You meet people on these group courses, and we'll be face to face. We'll have videos up, and we're going to be live with each other and be able to see each other. You meet your soul family, and it's an amazing experience. There are no blocks or boundaries when we're tuning into divine energy. We don't have to be with one another face to face in the same room touching, even to become a Reiki practitioner, which is what you will be, but you will be more than that. That's why I actually call my healing sessions that. I call them healing sessions. I don't call them Reiki because it's more than that. And I'm not saying Reiki isn't enough, but you all should know me by now. I like to what's the word I'm looking for? I just want to give you as much as possible when we're together. So over deliver, that was the word I was thinking of. Over deliver, like give you everything, get you going. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify those two things, and I'm going to let you go for today. I am blessed as always to share these words with you and to share your energy. I do know so many of you send me love. I can feel it. I hear some of you praying for me. Thank you, thank you. Believe me, it does not go unnoticed. I feel it, and I am so appreciative of that. I'm grateful for you. Now go have an amazing, miraculous day. God bless.